Hi, I wanted to reach out to you tonight because, the power came back on, with a generator in our office, so it was my first chance to really reach out and chat with you all a little bit about our reopening plans. And, first and foremost, we were able to get our plan despite the power outages and the internet outages submitted on Wednesday to the state. And what happens is our intention was to simultaneously submit a plain language summary to all of you. But what happened was that plain language summary is caught in cyberspace as we still wait to get back on some of our internet areas. But the state mission moved ahead. So I figured let me get on at least and chat with you for a few minutes now and then follow that material once we can get better access. One of the things I did hear from people who happened to log on to either the website or the state portal was that it seemed a little jargon rich and it seemed to not be so user friendly at times. And while that's what the submission required, I'm going to go at it tonight, without a script and without any of the trappings of the official format, and kind of just talk to you as I would talk if it was about my own 3 kids. And see if that helps a little bit more, because I know we're dealing with something that is critically important to all of you. I have a senior at home myself, and I know that she's asking questions every day about school. So I understand it's important, and I want to reach out this way. We'll, of course, follow with a full plain language summary as soon as we get our systems back up and running in the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll also have a Board of Education meeting Tuesday night where we'll have a full live stream. So we'll be in regular contact, but I didn't want to let the day go by without at least checking in. The guiding principle behind our reopening plans, behind everyone's reopening plans, were about 200 plus pages of New York State Education Department, Center for Disease Control, and Health Department guidance, which were pretty stringent in terms of what they told us we could and couldn't do in terms of 50% capacity, social distancing rules, and things like that. And then the mission became to bring as many of your students as you can back. I mean, ultimately what we want is everyone back in a regular school situation. So bring as many of your students as you can back within those guidelines. So we do not have, the one thing that some districts have that we just don't have, is we do not have declining enrollment like many districts do. We have neighbors that at some point had 7,000 and 8,000 students in their district and now have 5,000. So they have the luxury of space. And that's a double-edged sword in that we have the beauty of people staying in our community and people not moving out and our houses being rich in that value and that it's a stable community. But by the same token, that means we do not have classrooms all over the place. Like some of these places have almost double the classrooms for their students. And we've chatted with each one. So our task became to come up with a hybrid system that allowed us to bring 50% of our students in at a time. Right now, we certainly hope it grows. A hybrid system. And our system is our main hybrid, where we put our forces and our efforts and our resources to start, is with a hybrid system where 50% of our students at all the grade levels are in school physically on Tuesday and Thursday, and 50% of our students are in on Wednesday and Friday. With Mondays, because it's the day with the most vacations throughout the school year, for whatever the reason, that's how it breaks, with Mondays being rotated between one group getting them one week and one group getting them Monday the next week. So the first group of students, we'll call them Group A, they're in school Tuesday, Thursday. And the second group is in school Wednesday, Friday. And we'll probably break just straight down the alphabet. We'll see where the 50% mark is this weekend. Once we know by next week, once we know who's choosing to come to school and who's not, we'll know where that mark is. So what we did was we used a dual teacher model to make sure that this is as valuable as possible. We asked the principals to give us everybody in the district who worked for us and what they could do towards the academic program, towards the classroom instruction program in a all-hands-on-deck situation. So we knew who could help us in the classrooms. We then went out, in order to get the dual teacher model for every 24 students, We then went out and used some of our savings from last year to get a bunch of certified individuals who could assist our teachers as double instructors this year. And when we committed to them to become part of our team. So that first group of students, Group A, that's in school on Tuesday and Thursday, that group comes in and say they're doing pronouns with the main teacher in class that day. Group B is home working with activities with the other teacher on the pronouns that they learned the day before. So then when they flip and Group B comes into class, right? Group A is now home the next day. Group A is home now on Wednesday. They're doing activities with pronouns with the other teacher. Again, only 12 of them. So you have 12 students with their main teacher in class, learning the new material. And you have 12 students now, pretty good ratio, at home with this second teacher, working on Google Meets and working on activities with the materials they learned the day before. And then they just keep rotating all year like that, or hopefully till we can bring everyone back in. So it really is the most teacher contact time you could ever squeeze out of a program in the smallest amount of numbers. And that's that program. The secondary level is a little bit different in that you really don't have the luxury of the same thing being taught both days. So at the secondary level, same thing, Group A is in school physically, Group B is home that particular day, but Group B is logging on period by period to their actual teachers' classes and the new material. So say that in social studies class we're doing the War of 1812 in social studies. Group A is getting say 22 minutes or 18 minutes of new War in 1812 material before they do an activity. They're getting that material live, and Group B, who's at home, they're logging on. They're either getting it live stream, or they're getting it in a video recording, or they're getting it in PowerPoint, or some live connectivity to the class. And then the next day they flip, and then I'm in class, Group B is in class learning about Manifest Destiny, the next piece after that you're learning. And the other group that's at home is getting that piece virtually. And you go through your day that way. So we really have a pretty good feeling about how the ratios are really in our favor to make this work and to make it valuable. A couple things we do have to tinker with, as the year goes on, is how much time of that new material, how much, and we're going to work with all those things. We're going to make sure that they work accordingly. With that said, we also have a remote model. And we understand that there are people who are not going to be comfortable having their students come to school despite some of the health things that we're going to talk about in a few moments. And we get that. We have no desire to make a tough situation any more difficult on a family. And we will work with you. So for every 20 some odd students that choose remote instruction, we'll try to match a teacher for that full-time remote instruction. A remote schedule will look a little bit different. In the elementary level, if I'm a full-time remote student, my day starts whenever the normal school day starts. So say it's 8 a.m., whatever building you're in. That's why I pick a general number. And we start with a check-in or homeroom period. It's about 25 minutes where we go through the day's activities. We talk about the way the schedule will play out for the day. We talk about homework assignments, all the different things that may have happened the day before and connecting to today. We then have 25 minutes. We then have a 90-minute English language arts block of time where new English language arts material will be presented, activities will take place, and will be in reading, writing workshop activities for that 90 minutes. At least 25 minutes of that time will be the presentation of new material from the teacher directly, with other pieces at that time being different connectivity of activities, but certainly at least 25 minutes of that block is that new material. We then break for, I think it's 5 minutes or so, and then there's a math block of 60 minutes with the same exact format. At least 25 minutes of new live material. But then when the next group's getting the new live material, your group might be doing an activity with it. So we keep that in small groups throughout the day. So we have our opening homeroom, let's say. We have our 90-minute ELA block. We have our 60-minute math block. Then we have a lunch period, about 35 minutes for a lunch period. And then the afternoon is when we'll get our specials in, our art, our physical education, our music, our library. Again, all a little more challenging, and we're working on them from the remote world. Our academic intervention services, our special education services, and our extra help. So the afternoons will be for that. At the secondary remote level, you'll follow actually your academic period day. And you'll log on at 8 a.m. If you have chemistry at 8 a.m., you'll log on and you'll get the new chemistry block of material and any of those methods we talked about before, and you'll work on activities with that, and then you'll log on second period, say it's English, and you'll go the same way. So that's the remote model, and again, we'll talk about it much more, but generally that's the remote model, and that's the hybrid model. Remote is if parents choose. A hybrid is our main model, but remote will be how we'll accommodate parents if they choose. We do have to ask a couple things because we have to dedicate a teacher to that. We do ask parents next week after the Board of Education meeting on Tuesday. By Wednesday, we'll be asking parents to make a declination if they want that remote model, because then we do have to ask you to take that for at least an academic quarter, because we're based in doing class sizes based on that. The other thing we want everyone to understand is we know this does not take care of the child care issue. We believe it's a good instructional model, but we also know that the numbers do not let us take care of the child care issue right now, and everybody gets that. And because of that, we also want you to know that we're flexible. We're going to learn and grow as the weeks go on. Every 4 weeks, the Board of Education will ask me for a report on infection rates, transportation numbers, school attendance numbers, and what other districts are seeing with their infection rates, and what the state is saying about how we can and can't maybe shift some of these numbers and these social distancing. So as time goes on, we're going to be reevaluating very often with the expectation of trying to bring within a safe way school as normal and as typical as we can for you. So we know that. No matter what the case, there are certain health and safety things which are critical to us, and I'm going to do a whole another series of videos on that, but I never want you to think that was second. We have students and teachers will be wearing masks. We have daily temperature checks. Again, there'll be some that are done at home. There'll be some that are done at school. We've bought sneeze guards with the plastic surroundings for the various desks. We bought foggers for the rooms that do kind of a blast cleaning, and that seems to be very, very effective. We bought all kinds of new Virex and cleaning agents for the rooms that are supposed to be, the best in the market. We've scrubbed and will continue to scrub and replace all air ventilation systems. So anything that we're hearing can be helpful in keeping, your kids and our staff safe, we're on. And in addition, we also have worked with a contact tracing team. Like we're learning, we're schooling ourselves in contact tracing, because ultimately, while it is the Board of Health's responsibility, you're sending your kids to us every day, and you're sending your loved ones to teach to us every day, and we know that. So we've been doing tabletop exercises where we trace a student or a staff member who might, God forbid, test positive for COVID, and then we trace them to anyone that's come into classroom contact with them, or bus contact, or cafeteria contact, and worked on a 14-day quarantine scenario. So we will be doing that in each of those cases, and it's going to be cumbersome at times. It's not going to be conducive at times, and it's going to be frustrating, but it's going to keep everyone safe and healthy. So we're going to do that. So those are the plans. We have so much more to talk to you about. We're working on the plain language summary. We'll get it out. We'll also get a script of this out. Well, there really is no script, but I'll kind of rewrite. I'll watch it, rewrite what we talked about. And then Tuesday night we'll have a full Board of Education meeting about it, and we'll be reaching out at least twice a week on all of these points. So hybrid approach, we'll break the alphabet probably right in the middle, depending on what we hear next week, but very close to the middle. Dual teacher model, and we're going to move forward with that, and we will accommodate families who are just worried right now. We understand that. And with that said, I ask you to remember that we're doing the best we can at this. This is new to all of us. we have kids too. And the last thing we want to do is disappoint the community, and we know that a lot of these decisions are tough on family members. So we are keeping you in mind as we do it, and working to get everyone safe and to bring as many of you in as we can at a time. Be well, and have a wonderful day.